What's up, living in Rockland? I am so excited to bring Nicole, the owner and founder of Pivotal Performance. She has such a specialty. It is so cool. So I can't wait to dive right into it. Nicole, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about you and where you're from.
Sure. So my name is Nicole Muriel. I am an occupational therapist by background, but I specialize in women's health. Right now, I am working with children, men, and women in terms of pelvic floor injuries. I have lived in Rockland for 18 years now. My home is actually in New City, and then my business is in Stony Point.
Very nice. So walk me through. We were just chatting a little bit before we started to record, and I was telling you how I don't really think that everybody understands occupational therapy and how much of a wide range it has, yet how specific it can get. Bring us back to when you decided to go to school and walk us through the journey of how you've got to where you are today, focusing on pelvic floor.
Sure. So it's actually funny. I was actually looking at the physical therapy track.
Really?
And I was considering getting into the program. I chose to go with OT because it was really heavy. Like the coursework was really heavy in psychology. And I am like a huge fan of psychology. So I ended up like switching. When it comes to OT, I think a lot of people get confused because it's kind of the therapy where physical, that like biomechanical approach meets mental health, right? You can't really separate the mind from the body. So for example, if we suffer a stroke, right? Yes, you're going to be dealing with all the neurological impairments that the person has, but what about, the person's mental health? They're going to feel that they're not able to carry out their roles, maybe as a husband, a wife, a mother, a father, a brother, sister. They might have anxiety, depression. They might be scared because they might not know what the future holds, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if those things aren't addressed, how well can you progress someone in that much turmoil physically?
So you're saying that because when I get confused between physical therapy and occupational therapy. When you think physical therapy, it's like you're rehabbing an injury or you're strengthening something in that capacity. How do you intertwine the two now that you're talking about the mental aspect of it, the emotional aspect, and the physical aspect?
Okay, great. So when I'm talking to a client, my first questions, right, for intake is, yes, I want to know, like, if you have pain, why are you here? But I want to know, what do you do at home? For example, if you're a mom and you just recently had a baby, my OT part of the brain is thinking, okay, she's got to carry a car seat. She has to carry the baby. She's going to have to breastfeed if that's her interest, or even bottle feeding, right? Because we still have to kind of carry similar postures with the baby. I'm thinking laundry, cleaning, cooking, stress, right? I'm thinking that this woman might be stepping into a new role that she's got to adjust to. So with all of those things, as we're talking, I'm already adding up how many movements is she going to be doing in a day? What around is going to be her load that she will be lifting? So I'm going to take into consideration in my treatment plan, how can I get her to do that right now when she leaves my office safely? Then it's pretty cool. I mean, I love it because honestly, can you really like separate that?
And it's every case seems like it's so different, like it's like you never get bored because everybody has different needs and different wants and abilities, and it's super cool. So you said that you mentioned that you were thinking about physical therapy, but you changed to the OT track. Where did you go to school and how did you get into pelvic floor?
So I went to school in I graduated from Dominican College in Blauvelt. And they have like a dual program where you can get like your bachelor's and your master's degree. When I graduated, I took a job in New Jersey where I was primarily working with stroke and TBI patients.
Okay. Oh, that's tough.
Um, I loved it.
You loved it?
I loved it because it's like I'm very manual. I love muscles and the nervous system and understanding how we move and why, just certain things happen, but to also include, that cognitive piece
Mm,
of how do you reteach, certain things if they're having a problem with executive functioning, or maybe, they can't identify safety anymore because that part of the brain has been affected. So it's like muscles and the brain all at the same time. So it was like the best of both worlds. I mean, I absolutely loved working with that population. So I started there and kind of progressed to Parkinson's, MS, amputees, um, dementia, orthopedics. So
mhm.
I had like a colorful background in my career. I personally had my own pelvic floor injury, and I feel like that kind of threw me into the world of owning a business,
Mm,
and really pursuing it. I had a patient in the nursing home, and she was so cute. She was like, in
mhm.
her early 70s. She had just got diagnosed with dementia, but it was still very early. So she was somewhat forgetful, but could still manage. She was not in a wheelchair. She was totally ambulatory. She was walking around, but she was incontinent. So
Mm,
she lived with her son, and the son felt that the best place for her to be at this point was the nursing home because the incontinence issue was so stressful
right.
on both ends
Right.
because
Of course, for
her
both.
son,
Yeah.
she didn't want him to see that
Yeah.
side.
Yep.
So I was always a therapist that's like, you know what, if there's a problem, there's got to be a course for it. So I hopped online. I found that there was a course for pelvic floor treating with biofeedback.
Mm,
So I flew out to Vermont. I took this course. I came back. I was like, okay, you know what? We could do this. So I tried to pitch the idea to like the facility, and they weren't exactly on the same thought pattern than I was. They kind of figured like, well, because of her age, because of her diagnosis, should we even go this route?
right.
Or would it just be easier to transition her into nursing care now? I was so frustrated with that because I
Mhm.
was like, doesn't matter how old a woman is, right? If there's something that can stop leaks,
Why not?
why not do it, or at least ask her if she would like to
Yep.
stop, you know? So I ended up leaving that job and I went into an assisted living. And I tried, to take more courses because now my interest was like,
You were peaked, right?
we can fix this. Like, OT has always did like toileting programs.
Right.
I mean, that is, the biggest thing, but it's more like wound prevention, scheduling, right, of bathroom trips,
Mhm.
but never like direct pelvic floor influence. So I went to go take this class, and in class, we were getting cleared for like internal examinations.
Mhm.
And I felt like a tender point while she was checking me. So I kind of told her, this is what I think is going on. Is that what you feel? And she was like, I'm not sure. Let me get the instructor. Instructor actually verified what I was saying. And then everything just kind of made sense. I was like, okay, wait a minute. All the sciatica pain,
Whoa.
all the
Well
pain
connected.
in my back, all the pain with sex, the constant need to pee all the time. I was like, wow, maybe this is what I have. So I started really like addressing it. I totally went like, I have to take every class on this thing and know everything. I started seeing that I was actually getting better. And I remember like we were sitting at lunch and I was just like, um, I I want to share this information. I just don't know how.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like when I present it to the jobs that I'm at, they don't want to kind of touch it.
Mm-hmm.
Speech therapist that I was friends with, she was starting her own business. So she's like, oh my God, do it. Just open it up and do it because it's care your way. You don't have to know how to run a business. You just, you're passionate about something, it's going to turn out great.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the beginnings. I actually started filing the paperwork with her at lunch. And
That's
that's what
so,
we would do every single day until we got everything filed.
that's amazing. Now, can you tell us more about like what is pelvic floor therapy and what injuries do you treat and like more about what you do?
Sure. So I am a little different in terms of pelvic floors. I look at the entire person, right? So yes, I'm looking for anything that's going on in the pelvic floor, but I'm looking for, how do you breathe? How's your posture? How's your ankles? How's your hips? I'm kind of taking your body as a unit because you can't really separate any part. Pelvic floor injuries or dysfunctions can range in so many different ways, right? So low back pain, if you're having glute pain, hip, groin pain, any kind of incontinence, even if it's like I just sneeze maybe once a year, it's only like when I get that really bad cold, or, well, it only happens if I jump on the trampoline, but I don't jump on the trampoline anymore, so it's not an issue. Those are all kind of like warning signs that the muscle is telling you, like, I'm probably having a hard time lengthening and coordinating with the rest of the muscles. Unfortunately, it doesn't get better unless we address it.
Mm-hmm.
So I always say, like, to all my clients, like, some women have pelvic floor dysfunction way before they get pregnant, and then it's kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back, right? So now we're starting to have all these symptoms that were kind of manifesting before,
Right.
just overlooked it. In the clinic, I see everything from pain with sex to constipation to hip, low back pain, basically any pain that happens below the waist.
Okay.
Um, I see patients who have all types of incontinence issues.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are some patients that will come because maybe a doctor or, told them that they had a
Recommended. Right.
or maybe they have fibroids or endometriosis. So then they'll come in because the pelvic floor muscles kind of interact with that. In the clinic, I also do like visceral manipulation. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Mm-mm.
Oh, it's so
Say
cool.
more.
So cool. So it's taking an in-depth look at your actual organs. So all of our organs, right? Talking about like your abs. So your liver, your gallbladder, your intestines, big or small. They all have their own like natural movement
Mm-hmm.
and all have their own natural rhythm of being. So what I do is I kind of listen in to what is going on in that general area through my hands. And then if I notice that maybe the liver's not moving as well as it should, or maybe I feel like there's a restriction due to an adhesion, right? So adhesion could be like a built up of fascial tissue, scar tissue. That can happen through any abdominal surgery, C-section. or even a virus, to be honest, if somebody had like um, any kind of a viral situation going on, I'm able to help reduce the restriction, which would thus make the organ work a lot more efficient. And in a lot of
So
times,
cool.
it reduces pain.
That is so. How do you do that? By manual manipulation? Like you can.
So it's soft, it's all like soft touch. So it's kind of like, assessing the abdomen. So,
Mm-hmm.
like, let's say we were checking your livers on this side. So I would kind of just softly kind of look
Mm-hmm.
and see how things are kind of moving. And then if I feel like we're not moving in our optimal direction, I try to look what direction is your restriction.
Mm.
So if we have like difficulty, let's say with motility of the liver, that could actually cause right shoulder pain.
So odd.
It's so cool. I love it. So
It's like an investigation. It sounds very interesting.
it's very cool. I do it on my clients a lot, especially if they suffer with like IBS,
Mm-hmm.
because that's tough on all the gut organs, really. Um, but I will also do it for like endometriosis, fibroids, multiple conditions. Sometimes a patient will come in with pelvic floor and I will check there, especially if I feel like I'm being flagged to check that area.
It sounds like you're very intuitive too, just from your experience of working with so many people with a wide range of diagnosis.
Yes, I do thank my stroke background for that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so yes, when I have a patient in front of me, I am like just listening to you. Like I'm zoned in because I want to pick up on all the things that you may not be saying
Right.
and all the things that may not be going on. So a lot of my evaluation is not just on a mat table. You know, I'm asking women to squat. Let me see how you lunge. Let me see how you breathe. Let's see, can we move our ribs out? Can we, breathe through our belly? What exactly is strong? What's not? How do you walk? Sometimes I'll ask them take a walk and I'm looking at their hips, their glutes, I'm checking their ankles. I want to get that total picture of like, why does the pelvic floor muscle itself feel the need to work so hard?
Right. So interesting. So I know we have a couple more minutes, but how can somebody connect with you? And like, do you take insurance, or is this like an out of pocket thing? Like, I know probably so many people watching this are going to be like, "Oh my God, I could use that. I could use that," and not even, I feel like there's not. It's still new, pelvic floor
Yeah.
therapy, and I feel like there's not a lot of education on it yet, right? And so here's your chance to do that. And how can somebody connect with you? And do you take insurance or not?
So I do take insurance. I'm probably one of the rare pelvic floor therapists that take insurance. I don't participate in all plans, but I do participate in most. I am located in Stony Point. I have a website that they can go on where my email is connected. So if they ever want to ask a question, they can always go on there. I'm on Instagram. I am also on Facebook. They can always call or shoot a text.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that they actually feel comfortable to contact with me, I will answer.
Amazing. So I'm going to drop all of your contact, and then they can reach out, see if insurance possibly is covered, or if not, just how you could help. Because I know, I feel like I read up on a lot, and I just learned so much. How, like, when I thought of it, I'm thinking, woman has a baby and she's like peeing herself or something like that, right? Like, and
It's
you just
so
talk about so
hard.
much more, like just constipation and pain and sciatica, and how it all connects somehow.
Think about it. Like, I know when I was a little girl, right? You always watch like the Depends commercials. I mean, they've been playing for years, right? So, in the back of our minds, it's like we kind of subconsciously know that we're going to wear that one day, right? So,
Yeah.
I feel like too, like it's pelvic floor therapy is new and it's misunderstood, but there's also like this hardcore belief that if you have children or you have menopause or you're a certain age, that leaking is normal.
Yeah, like it's just gonna happen, get over it kind of thing.
Yeah, or that we should accept it.
Yeah.
And
So
I
cool. You have
it's
such a good mission. It's, to get that out there.
oh my God, yeah, I want to like really push the fact that like no, this is a muscle like anything else.
And you
We
could train
can
it.
stop it at and train it at any time. And pelvic floor therapy is a big part of like women's health. It should be not considered elective. Like I'll go there if I have to.
Yeah, no, it should be like a
It should
follow-up
be a
afterward.
standard,
Yeah. It will,
standard of
it
women's
will with
care.
time.
Yeah.
Well, Nicole, thank you so much for your time today. I'm so excited for this to air, and I really appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.